Hey, hello guys, and thank you so much for coming to another one of my videos. Today, I am going to go ahead and play Constantine for you. The first thing that you have to know is the passive that he has. The passive is that every ally near you is gonna get additional attack speed. Now, I don't actually know the exact amount, but I am assuming it should be around 20% because that is the buff that other players give you. Like Rosmira, she gives you 20% lifesteal. So we're gonna go to the next ability. The first ability, it is the ability that I do level up first. The reason is that it's very good to clear, and not only that, it has a debuff which applies a 25 percent magical resistance reduction on the enemy, so that's gonna be very good, guys. Always try to hit this before you hit your second ability or even your ultimate, because it's gonna deal so much damage if you manage to reduce additionally the magical resistance of the enemy. Now, the second ability, I do actually leave it. Well, let me tell you something else about this ability. Whenever you hit the enemies, you actually hit additional damage and you deal AoE damage as well. So that is something that you must know. Now, the second ability, it's going to be a waterfall or like a hazer. And what it does is it knocks up enemies, and not only that, it is very good because it reduces the movement speed of the enemies by 35% at level 2, and it's a very spammable ability. It's 12-second cooldown. I don't level it up at first because I do rely on my first ability. So what I do is I level up my first, leave my second at 1, and then level up my ultimate as required. Now the ultimate, there is something that is not described on this, but let me tell you this. There is a consequence after you use the ultimate. The stun of the ultimate, amazing, guys. 2.5 fucking seconds is very, very high. It's a high ultimate. Not only that, the damage that it deals is 400 damage plus 50% of your ability power. That's gonna be very good. Now, the good thing about it is that any allied champions are gonna be caught on the path of the water path or the path of the ghost ship. They're gonna receive a movement speed buff, and also they're gonna have damage reduction. So every time that they get hit, they're gonna have that damage reduced. Now, something that a lot of people don't know is that a few seconds later, after the buff has finished, you actually take all the damage that you have been reducting, and it's gonna be taken as true damage. So you cannot block that damage. It's gonna be very, very heavy. You can actually die because of that damage that you can receive after you have an encounter or the aftermath. You just put it like that. You have damage reduction, but that damage will come to you, guys. So that is a good thing to know. Now, it may not make a lot of sense, but it's very helpful because the damage reduction that you have, it's very good. And if you have your allies with you, that is gonna be applied to them, and that damage is gonna come to you, but after the fight. So that's good, guys, because you can also make sure that the enemies die before you die. Now, the way that I play this champion, of course, I try to keep my distance. Since I will be fighting Selkus, it's very, very important for me to keep distance because he's gonna be able to silence me pretty often. That ability is gonna be up every fucking 4 or 5 seconds, and that is just very annoying. Now, if he hits me whenever I am under silence, he actually gets healed. So that's why I am going to keep my distance. Now, the second ability that he has is gonna be a shield that he generates around him, and it's gonna be also another spammable ability which is gonna deal additional damage to surrounding enemies. So that's gonna be a thing to know. Now, the way that I build this champion is I rarely play Constantine. I did play it for a little bit. It was when he was available, when I actually started playing the game, and he was very, very powerful back then. He was actually able to cast the ghost ship in any direction without you having to be aiming at that specific direction. For example, I could be standing right here and make my ghost ship, my ultimate, pull the enemy champion towards me and towards the tower. That was so very fucking OP. So they got rid of that. Now you have to be aiming in the direction that you can be, of course, sending the ghost ship. Now, additional to that, one way in which you can combo is you can use your first ability. You're gonna reduce the enemy's resistance. You can cast your second ability, and that is gonna give you enough time, just enough time for you to be able to use your ultimate, and you're gonna hit 400 magical damage plus 50% of your ability power on a champion that has been debuffed, that they're gonna have their magical resistance reduced by 25% for 5 seconds, I believe. So that's gonna be a ton of damage. And not only that, if you have head of extension of your own, you're gonna be able to reduce or ignore 35% additional magical resistance. Putting it all together is gonna be 60% reduction. So amazing, guys. So that, keep it in mind. The damage, it's good. Now, a lot of people build full tank. They usually go just full fucking tank. They don't even think about the build. They just go full tank and that's it. And yes, it works because this is one of the few champions you can actually fucking do that. And it works very well because you actually can let the... look at the damage that will be taken, okay? I already... There. 296 damage. That is the aftermath of the damage reduction that I received because of the ultimate. So I was able to survive because of that, I would like to say, right? No, it actually doesn't make a difference until later on. So it just helps you a little bit if you have, for example, any regeneration, any healing that will be applied to you. You can survive until you get that additional healing, and then again, you can just take on the damage that you were supposed to take in the first place. Now, this champion can work with full cooldown reduction. I strongly recommend it for you two guys to at least get 30%. 40% will be amazing, but if you can get at least 30, that's gonna be very helpful. Now, you can whether choose to have cooldown shoes, you can also have defensive shoes, and you can also have agility shoes. I don't really recommend to go for penetration boots or go for attack speed boots because they're not gonna help you a lot. You already have a magical resistance debuff, and you also have an attack speed passive, so that's gonna be a good thing for you guys to know. Now, going back to the way that you can build this champion, you can build him in many different ways. The most popular one is gonna be to just go full fucking defense and let the towers do the damage for you. Now, you can just walk around and survive all fucking day because the mobility that you have and the control that you have over the enemies is just amazing. If you have your ultimate ready every so let's say more often, you're gonna be able to push the enemies, and not only that, you're gonna be able to stun the enemies for 2.5 seconds. And for example, one thing that you can do, guys, if you're very lucky, if you know how to land your ultimate, which is now it's a little bit harder to hit. Back in the day, it was easier to hit. What you can do is you can get behind the enemy, gank the enemy, push them into your tower. They'll be stunned for 2.5 seconds, and you can then use your second ability, which is gonna knock them up into the air for an additional 2 seconds, guys. So they'll be inside of your tower range for 4.5 seconds. In addition to that, the time that will be spent inside, they actually have to now walk outside of the tower. So the hits that they're going to be taking, just stupid damage, guys, because of the tower. Now, items that I do strongly recommend on this champion is going to be Guardian Scepter, because you want to sustain in the battlefield. You want to make sure that you're going to be able to spam those abilities. Now, to coexist with that, you can get either an item, for example, like it's going to be Medusa Shield, and you can also get other items. For example, you can get Trollbane, you can get Flame Armor, you can get Royal Shield, you can also even get, for defensive magical items, I recommend to get Elven Armor. I do prefer it because it helps you sustain a little bit longer. And Magical Shield is also very good. It's also very good, but I'd like to have the cooldown reduction from Elven Armor because I do like to keep it as close as possible to 40%. Now, there are some people that like to build him like kind of like defensive and also AD, attack damage. That is just your preference. It doesn't really matter because you can actually do very well. I would like to say that this is a very versatile champion, okay? He can do a lot of things. He can have a lot of control on the enemies. The only problem here is that I'll be facing a player that, well, not a player. I'll be facing a champion that has a lot of control. He can actually have also a lot of sustain. So he's gonna be able to lifesteal with no problems. He's gonna be also able to generate a shield every now and then, and he can actually use effectively that ultimate that can just stun you, snare you, and just teleport back and use it whenever he wants. It's a very good thing to do. Now, there are other items that you can do. For example, if you want to go a little bit into the ability power build, instead of getting Medusa shield, you can go for Archmage dagger. I strongly recommend you to keep Guardian Scepter. You can also get Dragon Horn just to pump up that ability power, and the 3 resting items you can go for in this case Flame Armor, or respectively Royal Shield, or vice versa. And you can also go ahead and get another item that will be Magic Shield or Elven Armor. But just keep in mind that as long as you have good cooldown reduction and good sustain, you're gonna be able to do so very well. Now, I would like to say that he is I don't know, the role that he has, I believe, is tanky. I think he's a tank, but I'm not quite sure what are the buffs that he can get, or what are the benefits that he can actually get or have. Now, I hope that this doesn't bother you guys, but I am actually planning on making this video in 2 different ways. The first part is gonna be in English. It's pretty much the same, and the second part is gonna be in Spanish, guys. I hope this doesn't actually bother you. The main thing is that I don't actually want to make 2 videos of Constantine, and I won't have him available again. So that's gonna be it. So for you guys, I am done, guys. That's all that I wanted to tell you. I think this is going to be the last video that I will be uploading to the channel. It is great, guys. I'm not moving. I'm not stopping making videos for a permanent decision. It is just like a break. I want to take a break from the game because the game has not been updated, and I cannot play very well. As you can see, I'm not even able to cast my second ability correctly. But for this champion, you don't actually need a lot of that, because you need to cast it whenever you're going to predict the enemy. You don't need to cast it whenever you're going to use it automatically. Now, this champion can actually pull that off, because you can actually auto-aim the ability, and it will be casted underneath the enemy champion. So don't worry about landing your second ability. At first, you can use it automatically, and whenever you get the hang of it, whenever you kind of can tell the delay that it has, you can of course use it respectively. Now, guys, let me see how many minutes we have left. Okay, that's perfect. I already spent 10 minutes with you guys, so this is gonna be the mark. That car, the thing is that I'm recording actually outside. This is gonna be the mark in which I will be switching to Spanish, guys. So thank you so much for all your support. Stay cool. If you want to continue watching the video, please do so. I welcome you guys. But I strongly recommend you to put your own music that you like, to put anything that you like, guys, because I'll be switching. So thank you so much. Buenas tardes, muchachos. Ya es el minuto 10. Quería hablar con ustedes ahora en español, porque no tengo a este campeón Constantine, entonces voy a aprovechar la oportunidad para hacer el video en 2 secciones. La primera sección, los primeros 10 minutos son en inglés. La segunda sección, que son los últimos 9-10 minutos, también sería aproximadamente lo mismo, pero en español. Constantine es un campeón que tiene bastante control. Su habilidad pasiva es de que él da velocidad de ataque a tus compañeros. Su primera habilidad es una habilidad que causa un debuff en los enemigos, le reduce la defensa mágica por 25%, es muy buena, dura 5 segundos. Siempre que vayan a hacer un combo, recomiendo que empiecen con esta. Es la habilidad que yo subo primero, mi primera habilidad, y es porque me ayuda a limpiar las olas. Es muy buena. Ahora, mi segunda habilidad, que es una cascada, un geyser, Es muy buena, te da bastante control. El cooldown son 12 segundos, entonces recomiendo bastante que compren cooldown reduction porque les va a ayudar bastante. La habilidad es buena, pero yo la dejo a nivel 1 porque el cooldown sigue siendo 12, no reduce. El daño sí cambia un poco, ¿verdad? Pero siempre y cuando mantengan una buena distancia y estén siempre golpeando con su primera habilidad y esos ataques básicos que también duelen, les recomiendo que la dejen a nivel 1. Ahora, el Ultimate, impresionante. Te permite tomar tanto control de la batalla porque no solamente arrastra a los contrincantes a una distancia muy grande, sino los hace stun por 2.5 segundos. Ahora, no nada más causa 400 de daño más 50% tu ataque mágico, sino que también te da un buff a ti y a tus compañeros, el cual reduce el daño que vas a recibir y también aumenta la velocidad de movimiento. Entonces es bastante. Yo digo que Constantine es un tank support y tiene bastante control. Tiene knock-ups, tiene que te empuja, te hace stun, te reduce defensas. Es muy buen campeón. Una cosa que no se menciona en el Ultimate y es algo que sucede, una vez que tú recibes ese buff de daño, de reducción de daño, después de unos cuantos segundos, todo el daño que reduciste, tú lo vas a recibir. Lo vas a recibir como algo que se llama True Damage o daño verdadero. Este daño verdadero no lo puedes reducir con tus defensas mágicas, físicas. No lo puedes reducir, no lo puedes proteger. Ese daño lo vas a recibir. Pero te ayuda bastante. Y no tiene mucho sentido, pero te ayuda bastante porque cuando estás peleando todos, cuando están todos juntos y están recibiendo una pelea en equipo, ustedes van a durar más que los enemigos, ¿ok? Entonces el daño que van a recibir después, hay muchas maneras en las cuales ustedes pueden recuperarse. Si tú tienes lifesteal, tienes tiempo extra para recuperar vida suficiente para poder sobrevivir al daño que vas a recibir. Porque de hecho puedes morir por el daño que ha reducido. Entonces es importante saber eso. Ahora, como pudieron ver ahí, mi catarata o mi cascada no la pude utilizar bien porque mi teléfono simplemente no funciona. Pero lo que pueden hacer es siempre utilicen su habilidad primera una vez y luego utilicen su segunda habilidad y luego después pueden utilizar su ultimate. De esa manera se van a asegurar de que el daño que están dando al contrincante va a ser lo más posible. Si ustedes agregan el ítem que se llama Hat of Extension, que es un gorrito como de mago o azul, vas a ignorar 35% la defensa de tu contrincante. Agrégale eso, que puedes tú reducir la defensa de ellos por 25%. Estás hablando de que 60% de la defensa mágica de tu contrincante será ignorada. Entonces ahí es cuando tú quieres arrojar tu segunda habilidad y cuando te quieres acomodar para utilizar tu primera habilidad, porque el daño es impresionante. Entonces él no nada más es un buen tanque, también causa bastante daño, solo que la mayoría de la gente desgraciadamente solamente le pone puros ítems de defensa. Desgraciadamente sí funciona con él porque él tiene el control suficiente para hacerse y encargarse de que contrincantes estén en el rango de tu torre mucho tiempo. Por ejemplo, si tú haces gank a uno de tus enemigos y buscas la manera de pegar bien con tu ultimate, los vas a arrojar dentro de tu torre. Dentro de tu torre van a estar 2.5 segundos stun, que van a recibir 2 golpes de la torre. Y luego, cuando traten de salir, utilizas tu catarata. Los vas a levantar por otros 2 segundos. Estás hablando ya de 4.5 segundos. En lo que ellos se salen, la torre ya les pegó 4, 5, 6 veces. Porque realmente el daño es impresionante. Es muy bueno. Es de los pocos campeones que pueden funcionar fácilmente comparándose pura defensa. Ahora, como yo lo utilizo, a mí me gusta ponerle algo de Ability Power o ataque mágico. La razón es de que yo creo, y siempre lo voy a seguir pensando, que ponerte puros ítems de defensa es como si no usas tu cerebro, ¿ok? Porque pues hay tantos ítems, tantas cosas que puedes hacer, tanto daño impresionante que puedes hacer. ¿Por qué simplemente irte por pura defensa y esperar que los dioses del más allá se encarguen de que tu daño sea recibido gracias a la torre? No, lo mejor es salir, pelear, divertirte. No estar ahí nada más atorado esperando que la torre los mate o esperando que ellos no te hagan daño, pero que todo el día estés tú peleando con ellos. Ahora, Si quieres sobrevivir bien como con Constantine, puedes comprarte 3 ítems de defensa. Por ejemplo, puedes comprarte un ítem que se llama Royal Shield, que reduce la velocidad de que caminan y la velocidad que te atacan tus contrincantes. Te puedes comprar Elven Armor, o si quieres te compras Magical Shield, tu preferencia. Yo prefiero Elven Armor porque me da cooldown reduction. Bueno, y luego tu tercer ítem te puedes comprar Dragon Heart. Con esos 3 ítems vas a estar teniendo con esos 3 ítems vas a tener bastante sustain. Vas a poder estar en la pelea bastante tiempo. Los últimos 3 ítems puedes comprar ya sea Guardian Scepter, porque ese ítem te ayuda bastante, te da bastante mana. Es un staff azul. Simplemente te da más mana. Otra cosa es de que también puedes comprar el ítem que se llama Dragonhorn, porque lo que queremos es de que te incremente tu habilidad mágica lo más que se pueda. Y luego el último ítem, si quieres, puedes tenerlo, porque ahí ya son las botitas, es el sexto. Puedes tener las botitas de penetración, puedes tener, pues es si quieres, pero yo recomiendo más que tengas las botitas de agilidad, que tengas las de defensa mágica, o que tengas las botitas de cooldown reduction, porque así te lo mantendrás tu cooldown reduction muchísimo más tiempo contigo. Ahora, como pueden ver aquí, realmente el build que tengo se mira un poco raro, pero yo quería tener más mana, quería encargarme de que pudiera estar en la batalla más tiempo. Afortunadamente ya pudimos destruir la torre, entonces ya no tenemos por qué pelear. Esto es un poco bajo, pero desgraciadamente no hay, o ya no tengo ningún tipo de interés en yo poder a ganarle a esta persona. Yo simplemente ya quiero terminar con el juego. La pelea ya duró bastante, ya es tiempo de que se terminen. Ahora, quiero aprovechar este tiempo también para decirles, muchachos, que voy a tomarme un descanso del juego. Ya lo decidí. Quiero descansar del juego. Realmente me estoy frustrando, no tienen ni idea cuánto. Ya he perdido bastantísimas peleas gracias a que no puedo jugar bien. No sé si les había comentado, pero la función de multitouch de mi teléfono no funciona bien, así de fácil, no funciona bien. Entonces yo no puedo caminar y usar habilidades. Yo no puedo arrojar habilidades a los arbustos, no puedo aventar las habilidades en dirección diagonal. Tengo que siempre utilizarlo de una forma automática y es muy ineficiente porque pues el contrincante siempre se mueve, y en especial si saben jugar. Desgraciadamente, muchachos, he perdido bastantes peleas y las personas piensan de que soy malo, piensan que ellos son demasiado buenos, pero no, las personas muchas veces, sí he perdido contra personas que saben jugar, pero la mayoría del tiempo son personas que realmente no saben jugar, pero como se mueven bastante y no les puedo pegar, pues batallo yo bastante. Es como si tengo una mano atada a mi espalda, porque solamente puedo, si camino, no puedo atacar. Véanlo de esa manera. Entonces, si quiero atacar, me tengo que parar. Pero ¿dónde has leído que sea bueno detenerte simplemente para recibir bastante daño? Bueno, y el descanso lo voy a tomar porque ya junté el dinero suficiente para comprar los campeones que necesitaba, como los nuevos que van a ser agregados. Bueno, creo que eso es todo, muchachos. Ya los dejo. Que tengan un excelente día y muchísimas gracias por su tiempo.